Should we have a look at the car in question?
After you. This is it.
So, I'm a bit nervous about that, Gordon, not going to lie. It hasn't got an immobiliser, has it?
Well, I'll give it first.
See if you get dash lights.
Yes. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Not hearing a damn thing at all. So, it's not in the tank.
So it's going to be under the back seat, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's as dry as a witch's tit. There is so much rust in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so much rust. So I'm going to go down to the fuel station with Tony BMW's trusty can of hope.
All right, sounds like a plan.
This is the best plan as I can come up with.
Let's do it.
Ready? I've never done this before, stretching out in this orientation. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Most people, when they buy a new car, they sell their old car. You know, it's time to get rid. But as you've probably seen in these episodes, that doesn't always happen. And that's the case here. I'm down in Worcestershire, and the car inside this shed here got kept, even when other cars were subsequently bought. There was something special about this car. And in fact, the family involved have been in and around both interesting road cars and motorsport cars for a long, long time. And this thing is almost a homologation vehicle. It's a very, very cool car, and I'm really looking forward to getting it out, giving it a clean, and hopefully firing it up, because this is a barn find episode of the Late Break Show, and I'm Jonny Smith. And this episode is proudly supported by Neilsen car cleaning products. So Gordon, this car in the garage was your late stepdad's car, Ron's, that's right?
That's right.
And your mum's.
Yep.
But you had they had subsequent cars from this, so this car obviously had something special going on with it, because it never went. It came and it stayed.
No, I think he knew that there was something special about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and prior to this, there was a 325i that was also silver.
Yeah.
And I think for whatever reason, he decided he didn't want to drive that one anymore. And then that got laid up, and it was replaced by a 5 Series. I think, you know, age, ability to get in a 2-door. Yeah, so then this was then put in the garage and replaced with slightly more comfortable cars.
Right, okay. But, so you grew up around cars, right? So we had a little chat with your mum, Elaine, before we started filming, and she mentioned that she'd had a few interesting cars, or maybe been dragged into this car world.
Yeah, there was MGB GTs. There were lots of cars that I can't remember the names of.
Yeah.
There was a lovely red 1602 BMW, which was the precursor to the 3 Series, the E30s.
Yeah.
There was a Spitfire, not a Spitfire, a Scimitar.
Oh yeah.
There was various fast Vauxhalls. There was a Senator, I think.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of different cars, and Alvises, and
so
loads. You name it, it's been there.
Your stepdad Ron got into motorsport, which we'll talk about a bit as the day goes on, because he sort of seemingly set up a business like an auto factor and fuel station in this area.
Yeah, that's right.
Or several of them.
And then realised that it was very expensive to sponsor a car, and actually he could be having the fun himself.
Okay.
So he decided to have the fun himself and started driving, and was sponsoring, I think, a Mini initially.
Yeah.
And then built a Hillman Avenger, which he campaigned for a long time, became quite a successful amateur clubman rally driver.
Yeah.
And then that was replaced with a Talbot Sunbeam, which he also built. And there's lots of stories around those cars as well.
Well, I will talk to you about both those as we dig, because they're both cars that I love. Should we have a look at the car in question?
After you.
In this lovely, lovely shed. Let's have a look. There it is.
This is it.
So, BMW E30 318i S. Very crucial. Let's open this door and have a better look. So, the 318 IS. Now, this car was only made for 1 year. And I didn't realise that until I did a bit more reading. So most people get this mixed up with a regular 318i, and that's not what this is it?
No, this is a homologation special, I think, which had the front track and suspension of the M3. So it's a bit of a kind of sleeping kind of M3, but it's right-hand drive, doesn't have the wide arches. Yeah, a bit of a sleeper, but if you know, you know.
It's exactly that. And I think out of 2.2 million E30s that were made, only about 40,000 of those were 318 ISs. That's worldwide. And to many people, this is the kind of purest, lighter, like you say, M-Technic suspension, M42 screaming twin cam engine. And clearly your dad with his rally kind of background, he bought this after he'd retired from rallying.
Yeah, I think he just liked drivers' cars.
Yeah.
You know.
So I love the fact there's a leak on it. I don't know
yes,
why there's a
mother
leak.
uses it as a the kind of vegetable storage rack. Here, let me get the leak for you.
What I want to know is, I guess, when did he stop driving it? When did it come out of service?
That's a good question. The Sawn records start from about 2006, but it had an MOT up to 2009.
Right.
So he was obviously driving it or wanted it laid up with the ability to, well, we need a car tomorrow so we can get the BMW out the garage.
Yeah.
And then there's been spots of maintenance. I think there was some maintenance done in 2016. There was a fuel pump. There was something done in 2017. I think it had a flat tyre and it was taken to the local garage to have an inner tube put in or something like that. So it was always kind of kept fettled.
And of course, the E30 M3 was the only four-cylinder M car. You know, there weren't any others. And so the engine of this, the M42 engine, I think is definitely related. And although this was down on torque and power on things like the 325, it's a very different beast to a 325. It is sort of the B-side, if you know, M3 equivalent.
So there's various other cars and the other bits at the front here. There's a kind of collection of French tin in a barn up the road. That's a front offside wing for, as you may see there, it says
106 Rally.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a bonnet there as well, and a wheel arch.
It's all new old stock bits.
New old stock bits.
You still own it?
I still got it, and keep it with a farmer friend up the road in their barns.
What? Is it actual in a barn?
It is actually in a barn.
106
It's a proper
Rally.
barn find as opposed to a shed/garage.
I'm going to have a look under the boot lid. Boot lid again. The boot lid's mint. This plastic here that always shatters.
Yeah, I think the toolkit's fairly original, or probably not got many missing bits, if any.
I don't get bored of the old BMW toolkits. It's interesting every time.
Oh, it's still got the towing eye and the jack.
Yeah. I'll just lift.
Oh, look at that, shiny.
It is shiny, isn't it? Steel wheel, full-size spare. Look at this. Elastogran Hechtspoiler. Type 1916038. It's just brilliant. Yes. I mean, it was obviously clean before it was put away.
Yeah.
There's a little sign inside which Ron had made to say, make sure the oil's change before it's put away.
Yeah.
The car looks great. I mean, I was doing a bit of research on 318 ISs last night. So that front that front spoiler and kind of splitter, that's different. You've got you said there, the blanks for the fogs.
Yeah.
And these are sort of ducts here for probably brake cooling. That's an IS thing. And then you've got that little spoiler on the back that we talked about. This is on 14-inch BBS alloys. You could order it with the 15s. I've just checked, these are the 14-inch BBSs. They're really neat, so of their time. This thing weighed 1,125 kilos.
So very little, really.
Very little. Very little. So it made the most out of its 136 horsepower, delivered at 6,000 RPM, 127 pounds-feet of torque. Not particularly torquey, but very revvy, very eager, very raw. Lighter than an M3. Obviously not as broad, but lighter. I was wrong about the anti-roll bars. 20mm ARB on the front, 14.5 at the back. Lowered 17mm at the rear, 15mm at the front. With the M-Tech shocks and springs, really cool. And vented disc brakes at the front. They all came with a D-chrome trim, electric windows and electric mirrors apparently. What's the plan for this car? I mean, what?
I think the plan would be to recommission it and perhaps see if it would cost a lot of money to recommission it. Would it be prohibitively expensive?
Yeah.
And then make a decision from there.
I'm so glad you contacted us because this is the kind of car which I know will be up your streets. It's definitely up mine. It's a glorious thing. Okay, let's have a lift and a look. Well, for starters, I mean, look at the condition of all the soundproofing here. It's lovely. This sort of slightly honey-coloured finish on the inner wings and the strut tops, that's like rust proofer.
Okay.
Look at that going down that scuttle panel and down the
there's absolutely there's no rust. All the original sealants here from factory too.
It's good.
Yep.
It was last on the road in about 2007, 2008.
And its MOT, its last MOT expired in 2009.
Right. But between then and now, it has run, as in the garage, you think?
It has been turned over and it has run, and it was run up to temperature every so often, every 3 months, maybe a little bit more.
This was Ron's little ritual.
Yes, exactly. And I would need to look at the documentation. I could look out for you, but I think it may have even had some other minor maintenance, a water pump or a fuel pump or something.
Okay.
But I can check.
Well, if you can check that, because I suppose the reason why I'm doing this sense check is to decide whether or not we trust its original fuel system. And all I do is, we take the plugs out, check the oil, usual thing, check the air filter for mice. And then we go for a turnover if everything seems fine, or we ignore the original fuel system and get Tony BMW's can of hope out. Tony BMW, sadly, he isn't here. I kind of wish he was here, but I didn't give him enough notice. And he's a BMW guy, so he's very excited about this. He did say, phone me if you get stuck. I'll just check the fluids and the plugs. I can see the brake fluids right to the top. I can see the water. The water's nearly up to maximum here in the rad, and all that bodes really well. It bodes really, really well.
Good. Okay. Well, I'll have a look at what I can find.
Yeah, see if you can do so. I'm a bit nervous about that, Gordon, not going to lie.
Well,
alarm siren.
I have to see.
It hasn't got an immobiliser, has it?
Don't think so.
People might have seen from earlier when it was all covered up, there was a cable coming down from the ceiling. So you've left it on a battery conditioner.
Yeah.
So theoretically that battery's okay. We've got a backup battery and a jump pack, so that's good. I like these, I've only ever had one E30, and I've probably said this before. I only owned it for a day. Not because I didn't like it, but someone offered me double the money I paid for it, and I just went, yeah. And it was a 318 Touring.
Nice.
Yeah. And I do.
Touring.
I've got lots of friends who love them, and I'm partial to the E30. It's sort of my generation, I suppose. But this is exciting. Let's see if we can get it one step closer to firing. I suppose if you're watching this and you're thinking, I know someone that's got an interesting car that's in an actual barn or in a garage like this or on a driveway, you can get in touch with us on the Late Break Show. There's an email address, contact@the Late Break Show. Send us some pictures and some info and the backstory. We love a good backstory. And we'll see whether we can come and visit you. Now, there's a little tool here, which is obviously for getting these HT leads off. But I'm too stupid to work out how it works. Oh, no, I'm not. That's how it works. That's brilliant. Look at that. This is when German engineering was absolutely superb. You see that?
So you could be lucky. November 2017.
Yeah.
Tow-in vehicle not starting. Checked out starting fault. Supplied and fitted new fuel pump. Supplied and fitted new spark plugs and induction pipe. So that induction pipe that you thought was new rubber was new from 2017, OEM BMW parts.
And how many miles?
153,118.
That's the mile that's on the clock. Isn't that what's on the... It's the same mileage.
Same mileage.
So it's done pretty much 0 miles since having a new fuel pump, new spark... Because I'm just looking down the spark plug hole, and look how shiny the plugs are, look.
Oh, they're brand new.
And they're golden.
They are absolutely brand new.
I'll take one out just in case.
There you go.
But that's brilliant.
Right, there we go. Now, I don't want to lift this too... Oh, look at that.
What?
It's brand new.
Oh, sugar.
Don't even have to take that off.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty young. I mean, there's a spider in it, but there's a spider
There's a spider everywhere.
in every orifice of this room. We're not expecting it to fire up because it can't, because the plugs are all out. So when you go out for a turnover, I'm just going to check to see if we have a spark, and we're going to listen to see if we get a fuel pump.
Okay.
Priming up.
Well, I'll give it first.
See if you get dash lights.
Yes. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yep. Come and have a look at how bright these sparks are. Wow. The spark plugs are going... It's like a disco. That's good. I've put the plugs back in because I've seen that it's got an extremely strong spark. When you were turning it over, I didn't hear a fuel pump, but I don't know how vocal these fuel pumps are. And the fact that it's had a new one not that long ago makes me trust it. You saw that we've put 10 litres of super unleaded in it.
We got the plugs back in the right way round.
We got the plugs back in.
Right order, should I say.
You were good to question it, because as I was talking, I did move the HT leads around, and sometimes that is the worst thing you can do. But I actually think we should try for a start. It seems premature, but I don't think it is.
Let's try it. Fuel injection, so I won't press the accelerator. I'll let it do its own thing. Okay, we're ready. Go for it.
Yeah. No. Right, I'm going to just put my head under the back when you turn the ignition on to just see if I get a priming. I get a fuel pump priming sound. Not hearing a damn thing at all. I will double check the position of the fuel pump on this. I presume it's in or near the tank. Well, yeah, I was going to say, give me a bit of bedtime reading. Thank you. So it's not in the tank.
So it's going to be under the back seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sender unit and hose connections.
Yeah. Right, so we've decided to access the fuel pump, which is in the tank under the back seat. So I'm going to go in first and admire this incredible check. My rationale here is is that if we access the fuel tank, which I think is that one, take the fuel pump out, check it, tap it even, sometimes they spring into life. And if we get it to work, happy days. And if we don't get it to work, I can probably put the Can of Hope hose onto it, with the Can of Hope being outside, and then run it from there using the fuel regulator and everything. That's the theory. Just because it's had a new fuel pump a couple of years ago doesn't guarantee anything. Now, it might not be the fuel pump, but I think it is. Like and subscribe, will you? Please, just if you like this, make a comment and turn your notifications on, blah, 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 all that stuff, you know. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's as dry as a witch's tit. Completely. No fuels come out of that. I'm glad I can definitely segregate. I mean, there's absolutely bone dry in there. I mean, you could turn the ignition on and something might come out, but I'd be extremely surprised if it does. Nothing's gone through there in a while.
So the pump then effectively is dead.
The pump's effectively a brand new dead pump, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is no big surprise. I've done enough barn finds to know that new fuel is pretty brutal. Right, okay, so this is the sender.
Dripping with fuel.
Dripping with fuel.
So there's plenty of fuel.
There's a bit of grit in it, you know, a bit of rust. I think it's a metal fuel tank, you know, which I was surprised. I thought it'd be a... Oh, hello. Yeah, so this got some fuel in. I think this should go outside, actually. There is so much rust in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so much rust. Wow. I mean, what you're dealing with is all the bits that are missing and rotten are in the fuel tank.
Are in the fuel tank, and that's the rubber or
I think it's
foam or
soundproofing
or something.
I think it's soundproofing.
And it's just been eaten off by ethanol-based fuel.
Presumably. I mean, that is what ethanol is good at, unfortunately.
So no wonder it wasn't able to drink any fuel.
Well, now we know that that's almost certainly dead, and the fuel tank will be full of fragments of rust. I think I'm going to go to plan B, which is use Tony BMW's Can of Hope. So I'm going to go down to the fuel station with Tony BMW's trusty Can of Hope, put some fresh E5 in it, and then we're going to connect it to where this had an inlet and a return, and then run it like that. And hopefully it will immediately prime and go, yeah, cool.
All right, sounds like a plan.
This is the best plan as I can come up with.
Let's do it. Yeah, go for it.
All right. I'm not guaranteeing anything here, Gordon, but...
Well, let's just watch for first squirting fuel.
Well...
Oh, that was near as damn it.
There we go. So that fuel pump...
That fuel pump is...
Yeah.
kaput.
Yeah, right. Ready? I've never done this before, stretching out in this orientation. Okay, 3, 2, 1...
Way!
There's the pressure, look. It's Tony. It's Tony. When it's a BMW, it's all about Tony, even when he's not here. That's running really nice.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out of the engine. It's an issue.
Oh, I was starting to get quite stressed about, you know, everything going on. You haven't heard it run for a while, I'm guessing.
No, not for ages, but it sounds very familiar.
Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty happy, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Oh, that's great then.
It's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the addiction thing kicks in where you go, just imagine if we had another day, we could take that fuel tank out and I'll order another pump and I'll do this. But I'll tell you what I will do, if it's okay with you, we'll cut it off and then we'll see if we can get it outside and give it a little clean before we put it back, because I think it deserves a little spruce. The wheels could do with a refurb, to be honest, but I'm going to give them a quick clean down with the wheel cleaner from Neilsen, leave them for a minute or two, then blast it. The car is in such lovely condition, but I thought I'd just give it didn't need a snow foam, just give it a little bit of a rinse down and a shampoo, and I'm going to use the glass cleaner and a little bit of quick detailer. I never know what I'm going to entirely encounter with barn finds. I don't know whether the car is ever going to run. I don't know what the condition is like. I don't know how it's going to clean up, but I try and get all these things done. And I'm so glad to say that Ron's old 318 IS here has come up a treat. It didn't need a massive clean, but I've given it a shampoo and a quick detail and a glass cleaner here and there, thanks to Neilsen for all their support with these episodes. Managed to get it running with Tony BMW's Can of Hope. Tony, it's a BMW, you helped to get it running, so thank you for that. All I've got to say really is two things. One, do you know of a car, or do you own a car that you think could be of interest for one of these episodes? It could be in a real barn, in a garage, on a drive, under a hedge, or something like that. Let us know. There's an email address in the description. Give us some details and a backstory and some pictures, ideally. And the second thing is, we have new merch. Have a look in the description. We've got a new merch shop that's coming online as we speak, with new designs coming through every time. Thanks ever so much for watching.